Today, we're jumping into one of the most intense, high-stakes moments in the entire Ramayana. This is the story of a single epic showdown. You've got a captured messenger, a furious king, and an exchange of words that is, and I mean this literally, going to set an entire kingdom on fire.
So that's the big question we're looking at, right? How on earth does one captive manage to bring a whole kingdom to its breaking point? Well, it's a classic tale of unbelievable courage going up against pure blinding arrogance. And it all comes down to a single terrible decision made in a moment of absolute fury.
Okay, so to really get what happens next, we need to set the scene. Let's go inside the royal court of the demon king Ravana. The air is thick with tension. You could cut it with a knife, because a captured Hanuman has just been dragged before the throne.
So just picture this place. We're talking a massive hall that's absolutely glittering with gold. It's packed to the gills with Lanka's most terrifying demon generals. And right in the middle of it all, on this huge, imposing throne, sits Ravana himself. The whole room is basically designed for one thing, to make you feel small and powerless. Ravana kicks things off with this question, and you can just hear the contempt dripping from every word. He's looking at Hanuman, and he just can't believe that this monkey is the one who caused all that chaos in his beautiful Ashoka garden. To him, Hanuman isn't a threat. He's just a nuisance. And right here, this is where everything changes. Hanuman doesn't flinch. He doesn't beg for his life. Nope. He answers straight up and then immediately raises the stakes. You can just imagine the whole court going silent. He not only admitted to what he did, he just gave an ultimatum to the most feared king in the world. And here's the thing you have to understand. Hanuman isn't just making some empty threat. He's delivering a serious warning, one that's based on Dharma, the cosmic law of what's right. He's calmly trying to explain to Ravana that his own pride has made him blind and that giving Sita back is his only way out of total destruction.
Well, as you can probably guess, Ravana does not take this well at all. And his reaction is where we see his pride just completely steamroll his common sense. This leads him to make the one decision that will seal his fate.
And there it is. Ravana absolutely explodes with rage. The very idea of him, the great Ravana, bowing to a mere human like Rama, it's just unthinkable. It's an insult to his very existence. So his pride makes it impossible to hear any wisdom in Hanuman's words. All he hears is disrespect, and his only answer is punishment. Now, this moment is so important. Ravana is actually given a way out. His own brother, Vibhishana, bravely steps up and reminds him of a sacred law. You do not, under any circumstances, harm a messenger. But Ravana is just too far gone, completely blinded by his anger. He ignores the law, he ignores his own family, and he gives a truly terrible, foolish order. So the demons, they're all laughing and mocking as they follow the order. They wrap Hanuman's tail in rags, soak them, and set the whole thing ablaze. In their minds, this is hilarious. They think they're humiliating this messenger. What they don't realize is that they've just lit the fuse to their own city's doom. And this, right here, is the turning point. The very punishment that was supposed to shame and hurt Hanuman, well, it's about to become his single greatest weapon. Ravana's brilliant plan is about to backfire in the most spectacular way you can imagine. As the flames shoot up, Hanuman just kind of smirks. And this just shows how big Ravana's mistake really was. See, he never bothered to learn anything about his enemy. Hanuman is the son of Vayu, the wind god. He has blessings that make him totally immune to fire. You can bet the demons stopped laughing pretty quick. Then, in a flash, Hanuman unleashes his true power. He expands, growing to this colossal size, and the ropes holding him just snap like old string. He is not a prisoner anymore. He's a force of nature, on the loose in the heart of Lanka with a giant burning torch for a tail. And that's when the payback begins. He leaps from the palace like a living comet, just tearing across the city. First, he goes for the houses, spreading fire and absolute panic through the same streets where people were just mocking him moments ago. He jumps from roof to roof, tower to tower, his flaming tail painting these huge strokes of destruction across the skyline. The very buildings that were meant to show off Lanka's power, they just start to crumble and fall. And then
In a beautiful moment of cosmic irony, Lanka's famous golden mansions, the ultimate symbols of Ravana's wealth and power, they start to literally melt in the heat. The fire that Ravana himself ordered is now consuming everything he holds dear.
So after this citywide rampage, you'd think Hanuman's job is done, but not quite. He's delivered a very clear message of destruction to Ravana, but there's one more message he needs to deliver before he heads home.
If you were to look at Lanka from a distance, the whole city would just be glowing red, like this giant, smoldering coal in the middle of the dark ocean. It is a powerful, devastating picture of what happens when a king's pride goes unchecked. The warning Hanuman gave in court, well, it came true. But in the midst of all that smoke and ruin, Hanuman takes just a second to look toward the grove where Sita is being held, and he sends her a quiet message of hope. A promise that all this destruction isn't for nothing. It's the beginning of her rescue. And with that final promise made, he leaps back across the great ocean. He's returning to Rama, carrying two very different things: a message of hope from Sita and a living, breathing promise of the absolute doom that is now coming for Lanka. Which brings us right back to that final thought. Think about it. Ravana's authority is what gave him the power to punish Hanuman in the first place, but his arrogance made him completely blind to what could happen next, and he ended up turning his own authority into the very weapon that burned his kingdom down and sealed his own fate. It's really a timeless lesson on how pride can destroy everything.